sure this is a less than professional way of doing this, but I haven't got the software set up. Just to give you a few of the preliminary ideas really, I use AutoCAD, and that was the basic premises of what I'm looking to achieve. This section here is representing the van back doors. As you're aware, it's this is going beforehand, so no, you may not be aware it's a Vauxhall Vivaro. And the basic layout, this here is a side door, back doors. This is a tool storage area because this will be a temporary camper. It won't be a permanent camper, not intended to be. So the basic idea at the moment is there'll be two boxes, one there, underneath will be storage, one there, underneath will be a toilet. This section here, as well as storage obviously. This section here we're looking to sink. There'll be a cooker of some description. This area I've got thoughts of a battery and a water cylinder of some description, and that's just a view from the side section on AA. If you draw a theoretical line down the middle of the van, back doors this side, and we've got that section there is a wheel arch. This is a box, that is a box, toilet underneath that box and a piece of wood that goes between them. Looking at it from the same theoretical line down the centre, looking back the other way, this section here is the door, and we're looking at the cool box. This is the other wheel arch on the near side. Battery represented on top of there, and I've got an idea of putting a washed up bowl sink into the surface, so it's not necessarily flush but something like. And then this section here is the cooker. So, and I've planned that to look something like that. Okay, so that's the sort of level of planning that I tend to go to. Again, this bit here sort of represents the bed. This box here, which is actually 800mm wide as it happens, because that's the width of the mattress, and from that point there to this point here will be 2 metres, regardless of what the size of the boxes actually work out at. But essentially, point there, 2 metres across, 800mm across there. This section here will be removable, so I can put it on top of there to store it out the way. I'm also going to put a solar panel lifter on the top. Now I've got the solar panels and all the stuff. Let's see if we can find the bit on the solar panels. Yeah, I mean this went through a couple of stages, if I'm honest. Essentially, it's using a linear actuator, which is this here. This represents the fulcrum point of the linear actuator when it's closed, and this from there to there represents the fulcrum points of the linear actuator open. So then sort of extrapolate that to, where am I? Yeah, that's sort of bits and pieces. I did change the design at one point because I was essentially going to lift it in a sort of vertical direction, and now I'm lifting it in a horizontal direction. So I did change the design somewhat, but that is as it is. This section here, right, now as you can see from this bit, there's the bed. As I said, 2 metres from there to there. This bit will lift up this bit, piano hinge across here, so that bit will lift up, need to be able to get hold of the toilet without disrupting the whole of the mattress, which is currently 800 by 2 metres, a bit of a pain in the arse. Well, with this section lifted out, what I actually need to achieve is this section here needs to be out of the way, but also so does the mattress. So the mattress, which is currently in one lump, needs to be 3 lumps. So I've got some material. I've worked out how big each of those pieces are. There's essentially one section which go on the back, the section there which will go in the middle, section there which will go in the end bit over the top of the toilet. And it has gone through a couple of different planning stages. As you can see, this is all superfluous requirement now, but times 2 is obviously one on the top, one on the bottom. Times 2, there's obviously that side and that side, and also you've got that one there which is on that side. And yeah, this was the old design. Now I've modified it, so we've got 6 pieces of that, not 3 pieces of that and 6 pieces of that to accommodate zips. That is gone. We've now got a piece on the top, piece on the top, piece on the bottom, 2 pieces down the side, piece that side, and then the piece that side will have a zip through the middle. So rather than having a piece there, there'll be 2 pieces which are half size plus cutting distance. Same for that one, same for that one. Now that is representing the overall, that square there is representing 4 metres by 1500, and that's those pieces. And as you can see quite clearly there, you've got a square within a square, and that square within the square represents the size, which is the dead size, and the square on the outside represents the sewing section. So it's 20mm basically. So I'll take a line 20mm inside my cloth and sew it at that point. And that's all of those laid out on a 4 metre by 1500 piece, and that is actually exact. I have no millimetres to spare. So I've got the cloth. I was originally going for some red, so I've got red zips. The cloth is grey because I changed my mind, so I'm waiting for some grey zips to sew to turn up before I'll make a move on that one. I also need to set up a table that's big enough for me to measure things out properly and check and double check and triple check before I take the shears to it, and then I get the sewing machine out and sew it all together. And we have yet to see how that's going to turn out. But is there anything else that I haven't covered on the planning stage? Yeah, this bit here, I've got a bed which is 800mm wide. Now the bed that's 800mm wide was cut out of a piece of 12mm ply. It's 2 metres long, so I ended up with 400mm, which is obviously 1200mm, which is 4 foot wide, piece of board. I thought I can't waste that, but that is more than from essentially this edge to this edge is more than 400mm. It doesn't fall much short, only about 3 inches, 3.5 inches, something like that, so 75-80mm. So it doesn't fall much short, but it does fall short. So I thought, what can I do with that? I've actually inserted a piece which you'll see, and I was working out how I was going to pop that bit in there, but essentially started off with a piece that goes from the edge to there short, a piece that's inserted into there, and then started constructing a section on top of that which will simply slide across and pop in. I've decided to call that my Welsh dresser. So we'll see how that turns out eventually. Just to show you some of the other things, that represents the cooker. That represents the cool box. How clear that is. So I've got the cool box. I've already got these items, bought them in advance. Battery was a bit of a guess because I hadn't got the battery. But thanks to Uncle Barry, I now have a battery. And Uncle Barry runs a company that does floor maintenance equipment, and we've got 2 batteries. He says one of them is knackered and they're both on the scrap pile. You find the one that's not knackered, you can have it. So I did. So I've now got a battery which is 105 amp hours. According to my meter, it's currently holding 130 amp hours, which is excellent. Excellent use of battery. So water tank, that's me 25 litres, and it's 250 by 250 by 480, and that's the barrel, which you will see in later videos. So yeah, I think that's covered most things. That's just again showing bits of that is the mattress essentially, and how the mattress will eventually be cut up into chunks. Okay, so I hope that's a bit of a forerunner. So bearing in mind that this is a temporary camper, I'm not turning this into a permanent camper. This is just the bits and pieces that I've decided to build into my existing van for camping purposes. Just watching the video back, and there was another couple of sections which were quite important at the start, and as time moves on you start to forget them, but that was an important one. Things to be included: water tank, heater, gas cooker, bed, toilet, cool box. Now in terms of those are the important bits really, to make sure they are in there. And then of course you've got the power supply, solar, battery. Inverter has become less important, I can go into that. Sink, need obviously storage, somewhere to sit. A shower would be nice, that's sort of on the wish list, and a water heater, which again goes sort of hand in hand with the shower. That's the bit I haven't yet managed to work out. Shower is sorted, but the hot shower, now that's something different. Right, and the other bit that I realised I'd missed was this little section here, which is my switch panel layout. Now you went through, as you can see, that is the old drawing, and it ended up with this. You've got your battery meter. There's essentially 10 switches. So number 1 over here, number 5, number 6 to number 10. USB, which is the double USB, a 12 volt cigarette lighter socket. This represents a hole in the front, the buck converter sits behind it. This is what the switch panel does. There's the internal lights on and off. Now I've decided to have internal lights red and white, because obviously I want to have a white light, but also if I'm stealth camping somewhere I want to be able to have a red light because it doesn't disrupt your night vision. I've got some under cupboard lights. There's external lights which will go on the roof rack, or one hanging over the side, one hanging over the back. So those are number 4, number 5. the solar panel lifter, which we'll come to, the laptop stroke book converter. Wi-Fi GSM unit is to give me Wi-Fi within the van while I'm parked up somewhere. USB charger, and the one at the end is the water pump, so that switches the water pump on and off. And essentially, as we look at the second layout, which is this one here, the border around the outside actually represents the 19 by 38 woodwork which sits behind it. So the panel, this section in the middle, is the square that I've got available. I've actually got a section down the bottom here which, if I need to put something else in later, I've got space available. But that is all working and functional, and we can show you that a little bit later on in the video. I'm sure you get a glimpse of that. Hello there. This is just a start of a project. You can see that the Vivaro van has had insulation from the roof and on the walls. I've used that wool type with spray glue on the walls and solid insulation on the roof. Next stage with the Vivaro, you've got these bars. Going to be a lath goes across there like such, and that will support the roof timbers. Just an ongoing project for a temporary camper. Insulation's in, just putting the vapour barrier on the ceiling before I put it on the walls. Put some cables in for lights. Not 100% sure what I'm using yet, but we'll be there. The tech screw is self-drilling. You see that? Yep. There we go. Perfect. Right, one piece of ceiling on. There. It's a light. It's less than 4 foot width, so that'll fit in there nicely, but it will take a bit of trimming and cutting, which I did with that panel there over that wheel arch. Cocked it up, but absolute pain in the arse, if I'm honest. Try to cut it in 3 dimensions. Entertaining. Right, here we are again. That's all insulated and boards on. A few pieces and bits and pieces to finish off, but there's the roof. And a couple of cables hanging for lights and things. And then this side. A few bits and pieces to finish off on that side. Got this here, which will be tucked around and there. Now I've got the aerial on the roof to match that one over there. So more lighting cables there. There's going to be a couple of strips of LED going down. Those holes there are to get hold of the carcasses for other aerials. Okay, I'm just about to start. I've insulated that one, and it's not too bad. It's not worked out too bad at all. Essentially going to be a box across there. It's going to 700mm, which is about there. Yeah, about there. The box will come out 800 and be scribed around the wheel arch as far as necessary. And that will form one section of the bed, and then down there in that current mess will be another box which will house the toilet. That'll be inside the box down there. I was planning a rock and roll bed, but the only place I could think about putting it was somewhere across here. I think it was taking up far too much space, it also meant the toilet would be right under my nose at night, and I thought, not feeling that one. So, oh, we're going as it is. There'll be a box up there, the lift up lid, toilet underneath it, and then a box here, form head end, a standard 2 metre by 800 mattress, which I'll chop and take a section out somewhere in the middle, so in the middle over there, which will have a lift up section which we can slide underneath the box here. So that's the plan. We'll see how that goes as time goes on. Okay.